On October 22, 2016, the 7th United States Navy ship to carry the name Detroit was commissioned. Here is a list of the previous ships bearing the name Detroit. She was the British gunboat Detroit, which was captured and shortly afterwards destroyed by her American crew to avoid being retaken. The second Detroit entered the United States Navy in 1814 as a prize taken as a result of the United States Navy victory on Lake Erie. The third was a sail steam combination powered vessel named the USS Detroit for 4 months in 1869. Number 4 in the Detroit line was an 1893 steel-hulled cruiser that participated in the Spanish-American War. The fifth Detroit was a 1923 scouting cruiser that saw extensive service in World War II and was present for the attacks by the Japanese in Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. The sixth craft in the Detroit line was a 1970 fast combat support ship. Now the seventh namesake Detroit is a small multi-purpose littoral zone ship in the new Freedom class. Construction on the LCS-7 Detroit began in 2012 at the Manitowoc Marine Group of Wisconsin shipyards by Lockheed Martin. Manitowoc shipyards began in 1902 building and repairing Great Lakes vessels. The shipyard at its peak was during World War II when the shipyard built 28 submarines for the United States Navy. In 2014, the USS Detroit was moved into its launch position. On the 22nd of October, she was christened and began the fitting out process. Sea trials commenced and she was put through her paces. In August 2016, LCS-7, the USS Detroit, was accepted by the United States Navy, and on the 13th of October 2016, she set sail to the port of Detroit for her commissioning. Traveling through Lake Michigan and Huron, she passed under the Blue Water Bridge on the morning of the 14th of October, doing 9 knots. Just past noon, she cleared Belle Isle, where she turned into the 5-mile-an-hour current on the Detroit River and crabbed sideways to dock at the Port of Detroit in front of the Detroit Renaissance Towers. On the 17th of October, members of the Port of Detroit International Propeller Club were given a brief tour of the ship. We received a quick briefing by the operations officer concerning safety and how the tour was conducted. Before we went on board, we were greeted by the ship's commanding officer and his staff. The tour began on the flight deck on the aft of the ship. Mounted high above the flight deck is the ship's anti-aircraft defenses, which are the Raytheon RIM 116 rolling airframe missile system. Additional armaments which have not been installed yet are the two Mark 46 30mm chain guns that will be mounted just above the hangar as well. By their careful positioning, these landing lights are essential in assisting helicopter crews land. The hangar is large enough and equipped to store and maintain 2 Seahawk helicopters. Accessing the foredeck, the Detroit's main armament is the Mark 110 BAE 57mm gun. It is a stabilized gun platform that can fire 220 rounds per minute and is capable of engaging and tracking targets, as well as ammunition that can be programmed for various targets. The bridge has the capacity to control and monitor the essential systems of the ship, such as steering, propulsion, electrical, and water treatment. Commissioned on the 22nd of October 2016, she's heading to Florida for further sea trials.